Let him go. Hey. Let go.
Get out. Coming into a private business like this, it's a private business.
You are not a federal agent to begin with.
I'm not touching you.
Identify yourself.
Medical professionals in Ontario, California stood up for their patient.
I'm not touching anything. You guys need a warrant to come in here. Property. This is a business. Identify yourself. Where's your badge? ID. Where's your ID?
But of course, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Florida lawmakers finally got a chance to go inside the state's new detention facility in the Everglades.
What we saw, the conditions that we saw inside this internment camp, which it is nothing less than that description, were really appalling.
Well, they say they were not allowed to see the units where migrants were actually being detained, just the empty ones. Florida State Representative Angie Nixon was there. She joins me now.
What stood out to me the most was going into the caged facility and witnessing where they housed over 32 grown men together with only 3 toilets, and those toilets were the same places that the folks would get their water from. We often asked who were the vendors and things like that, and they continually said, oh, you have to file a public records request. They were very evasive. At the end of the day, this is a $450 million taxpayer dollar facility, internment camp, that was just done for a political stunt.
Because those same migrants that ICE is rounding up may very well get sent here.
They opened the door. There was about 6 security guards standing there kind of pushing us back, but we could see in and we could hear everybody. And when those doors opened, you know, what I saw made my heart sink. I saw 32 people per cage, about 6 cages in the one tent. I saw a lot of people, young men who looked like me and people who were my age. People were yelling, help me, help me. I heard in the back someone say, I'm a U.S. citizen. And as we were walking away, they started chanting, libertad, 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 freedom. And looking into these cages, you could see, of course, it was warm and hot within the tent. People were sweating. Some people had taken off the top of their clothing because it was just so hot. Some of them were drenched in sweat. The food we saw is not enough food. They're being fed essentially a small sandwich and a bag of chips. And not just that, but the conditions outside, of course, it's blazing hot. And the fact that into the cage comes from the toilet. Number one, not everyone's going to be able to drink as much water as they'd like to because of that inconvenience, but also it's gross and it's disgusting. And this is where people are being held.
And that is why it is so damning to see this. As Chelsea FC won the FIFA Club World Cup, Republican President Donald Trump made his way on stage for the trophy presentation. Blues players looked on skeptically as this was their moment. In turn, they expected Trump to get his photo op and depart. He refused, because this is the image he demands, even if unworthy. Celebratory, success, winning, etc. Gianni Infantino, the head of FIFA and a Trump stan, would even signal for Trump to move, but he stayed put. The players would eventually box him out. Let's remember a word we heard quite frequently when the FIFA World Cup in Qatar took place: sports washing. The Human Rights Research Center points to Britannica for its definition: the use of an athletic event by an individual or a government, a corporation, or another group to promote or burnish their reputation, especially amid controversy or scandal. They write, in other words, a country, organization, individual, or group using major sports events, or MSEs, to frame an alternative narrative of their reputation and image. It was no shock that many Americans in the stands expressed their anger and frustrations at Donald Trump when he appeared not only on the Jumbotron during the national anthem, but also as he made his way onto the pitch for the trophy presentation. Still, as the Athletics' Adam Crafton wrote, there's going to be some arguments made that big sporting events in the United States means Donald Trump must be involved. But the NFL's the Super Bowl, the NBA Finals, the NHL Stanley Cup, and Major League Baseball's World Series did not have the president on the pitch for those presentations. FIFA do not have to do this stuff, but of course they do. First, look no further than the president's box, Attorney General Pam Bondi, who has been clashing with Dan Bongino over her handling of the Epstein files. Out of his depth, Transportation Secretary and reality TV dude Sean Duffy, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, who is responsible for plenty of the insufferable and inhumane ICE raids, former National Football League quarterback Tom Brady, who once had a Make America Great Again hat in his locker when playing for the New England Patriots, and the man who has single-handedly destroyed the fabric of America through mass media, Rupert Murdoch. This all comes as ICE continues their raids from one community to the next, terrorizing citizens, deporting people who have never been to the country they are going to in some cases, and remain locked up for indefinite periods of time. Many soccer fans have been dissuaded from attending the FIFA Club World Cup and fear what can happen if they make their way to the United States for the World Cup next year. For Infantino, he loves the close proximity to power. Dave Zirin notes, he does his job well to remain there. Infantino has long cultivated relationships with Trump. His bowed, bent, supplicant shaved head could be seen at the back of his VIP section at Trump's recent inauguration. He regularly posts on Instagram about his BFF Donald John Trump, and even his son Eric and the cringy Vice President J.D. Vance. At the Club World Cup, FIFA conspicuously ditched its in-stadium anti-discrimination messaging. Even inoffensive statements like no racism and no discrimination, seemingly in deference to Trump. All of this comes as well, we should mention, with the Trump administration having ICE present at World Cup games next year, and FIFA having an office in Trump Tower for their Manhattan-based employees. And personally, what I think is a huge tell is that Gianni Infantino will glaze Trump every single chance he gets. And it's not only that he will do so on social media, it's that there's a report from The Independent who even touched on how Gianni Infantino, after hanging out with Donald Trump over and over and over and over again and meeting him wherever he is and going to meetings and being his little sidekick, people within the FIFA offices who are close with Gianni Infantino told The Independent, granted anonymity, that he's even starting to behave like Donald Trump. He's starting to talk like Donald Trump. He's starting to talk about himself like Donald Trump. He's starting to talk about his employees like Donald Trump. So it's not even just, as I stated, the close proximity, it's that he wants to be it. And the thing is, he already is that. If you are the head of FIFA, objectively speaking, you have to talk with certain heads of state. But going above and beyond is such a tell. It is such a tell. And then cutting a deal, clearly, to have FIFA's offices in Trump Tower. New York City, one of the best cities in the world. You could pick anywhere to put your employees. Why Trump Tower? To stay within close proximity. So if you want to look for another person that not only botched the entire FIFA Club World Cup and has really done serious damage to the brand of FIFA, look no further than Gianni Infantino.